Imagine you have no idea there are modern-day prophets on the earth today. If someone told you there was a prophet, based on what you know about biblical prophets like Moses and Abraham, what do you think a modern-day prophet would be like? Hugh B. Brown answered this question in a landmark talk given nearly 70 years ago called The Profile of a Prophet. In his talk, he tells the story of a religious discussion he had with a close friend who was a prominent figure in Great Britain. This friend felt perplexed by Elder Brown's belief in such a fanatic religion. He asked Elder Brown to prepare an argument or a brief for his religion. As Elder Brown made a case for the church, they discussed whether God still speaks to men or not. Together with his friend, Hugh B. Brown answered this question. If there really was a prophet on the earth today, what would he be like? Take a listen to Elder Brown's talk.
First, we agreed that any man who claimed to be a prophet of God also claimed to have been spoken to by God. We agreed that any man claiming to be a prophet of God would declare his message without any fear, courageously, and without making any weak concessions to public opinion. We agreed that such a man would speak in the name of the Lord and say, "Thus saith the Lord," as Moses, as Jeremiah, and others.
To me, the first points are really relevant. Prophets speak fearlessly, things that are not in harmony with accepted teachings of the day. All prophets have made people angry by their words. Like prophets of old, Joseph Smith was also hated and persecuted for what he preached. Listen to the rest of Elder Brown's list in the next clip.
We agreed that such a man would predict future events and predict them in the name of God, and that they would come to pass, as Isaiah and Ezekiel. We agreed that he would have not only an important message for his time, but ordinarily a message for all future time, such as Noah and Malachi and others. We agreed that his courage in supporting his statement of truth would be such that would enable him not only to endure persecution, but to give his life, if need be, for the cause he had espoused, such as Daniel, Hosea, David, and others. We agreed that he would do many superhuman things that no man could do without God's help. We agreed that as he grows in stature, the consequence of his work would be among the most convincing evidences of his calling. By their fruits ye shall know them. We agreed that his teachings would be in strict conformity with Scripture. We agreed that his words and his writings would become Scripture. Now, I've gone quickly and left out a lot which you can fill in, but I ask you, in all seriousness, to stand the prophet Joseph Smith up against that profile of prophets and see whether he measures up. And as a student of the life of the prophet Joseph Smith for more than 50 years, I say to you, young men and women, there is no claim which any prophet has made in connection with his prophetic calling which Joseph Smith cannot qualify under. Think it through.
Joseph Smith fits the description of what a true prophet of God would be like. Elder Brown said, "I believe Joseph Smith was a prophet of God because he talked like a prophet. He was the first man since the apostles of Jesus Christ were slain to make the claim the prophets have always made, that God had spoken to him. He lived and died like a prophet. I believe he was a prophet of God because he gave to this world some of the greatest of all revelations." Joseph Smith truly testified of Christ. He spoke of eternal truths and in the end, as many prophets before him, paid the price with his life. In spite of the opposition, he never wavered, and in the Doctrine and Covenants, he bore a powerful testimony of Jesus Christ. He said, "And now, after the many testimonies which we have given of him, this is the testimony last of all which we give of him, that he lives. For we saw him, even on the right hand of God, and we heard the voice bearing record that he is the only begotten of the Father, that by him and through him and of him the worlds are and were created, and the inhabitants thereof are begotten sons and daughters unto God." As Elder Brown so eloquently stated, think it through. You can also gain your own testimony that Joseph Smith was a true prophet of God.